Hey, I'm Brandy. Today I'm going to show you how to cover some stained fabric with fabric paint. So what you need is Permaset, which is for silk screening fabric. I've got two colours. I'm going to mix white and red to make pink. Now, you probably know when you screen print on clothes that there's a layer of ink, and that creates a new texture, which is not really what I want all over my fabric, because my goal here is to cover the entire piece completely with ink, but I don't want that kind of thick texture that it normally leaves. So what I've also got is a jar and some tap water. We are going to mix the ink with the water in this jar to kind of thin it out a bit so that it doesn't leave that thickness, kind of like thick coating on top of the fabric, that it kind of sinks inside and becomes a part of it, almost like a dye. But I don't want to dye it, because if I dye it, you'll still probably see a kind of shadow of a stain. So the idea here is that we're going to mix the ink and water so that it's still kind of thick but not too watery like a dye, so that it still does sit on top but also gets inside the fabric. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is, well, actually, side note, don't wear really special clothes when you do this, because you could get ink everywhere. I am currently wearing a t-shirt that I made, which maybe it should be a bit more special to me, but it has a stain on it, so if I get another stain on it, that's okay, I suppose. I'm not so opposed to stains anyway. Now, I've got this handy paint stick because I don't want to sort of load up the brush with a whole bunch of ink before I've mixed it, so I'm just going to use this stick to sort of get it all going. Now, I am going to be painting a skirt that I've made for my friend. Hi, Elena. And it's quite a bit of fabric, so I'm going to use quite a bit of ink, but because I have recycled this peanut butter jar, if I do have some extra, that's kind of fine, because I can put the lid on this jar later and use it again. I'm always trying to think about how I can sort of save things and not waste anything. Maybe. Now, this is the skirt that I made for my friend. Very cool. Now, I'm gonna have to be really careful with this, because I've got these really great appliqued cats and flowers and leaves that I actually don't want to be pink. And the issues, perhaps obvious, because I'm using quite a watery, inky mixture that bleeds, I run the risk of getting the ink on these appliqued pieces, which I don't want to do. So what I'm first going to do, especially while I'm using this like funny technique I've sort of figured out on the spot, mixing water and ink as I go, I'm going to just get the areas that I'm very confident about. I'm not going to get too near to the cats and flowers. I'm going to fill in the big gaps in between them first. Okay, so I've completely painted the skirt now, and I'm quite happy with it. It looks fairly solid from far away, but I think when you sort of like look up close, I don't know if you can really see, but it's got some kind of like paint strokes around. Maybe you can kind of see.